Welcome to the Platform Daily podcast. Today, we are diving into a critical human rights issue that has once again taken center stage. The Kenya Human Rights Commission has just released a new report exposing the violence and discrimination faced by sexual and gender minorities, or SGMs. This is not just about statistics. It's about lives, justice, and the dignity that every Kenyan is entitled to under our constitution.
The KHRC report paints a troubling picture. Despite Kenya's progressive 2010 constitution, which guarantees equality and non-discrimination, many SGMs continue to face systemic violence. They are denied healthcare services. They face stigma in schools and workplaces. And too often, they are subjected to arbitrary arrests, extortion, or brutal attacks. To understand this, we must look at the legal environment. Sections of the Penal Code, remnants of colonial-era laws, still criminalize same-sex intimacy. Though rarely enforced through actual convictions, these laws fuel discrimination and provide a legal cover for harassment. The report highlights testimonies of individuals beaten by mobs, expelled from schools, or denied housing simply because of who they are or how they express themselves. Beyond the law, social attitudes often shaped by cultural taboos and conservative interpretations of religion perpetuate cycles of violence and silence.
So where does the law stand? Article 27 of the Constitution guarantees equality before the law and prohibits discrimination on any grounds. Article 28 protects human dignity. Kenya is also a signatory to international human rights treaties like the ICCPR and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. Yet, the Penal Code and selective policing practices contradict these protections. SGMs often report police as perpetrators of violence rather than protectors. The KHRC report documents cases where survivors of assault were laughed at or ignored at police stations. Courts have occasionally offered glimmers of hope. In 2019, the High Court affirmed the right of SGMs to form organizations, recognizing that freedom of association is for all. But efforts to decriminalize same-sex relations have repeatedly been struck down. This legal contradiction continues to fuel injustice.
From a human rights lens, the issue is clear. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights says all people are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Denying SGMs access to healthcare, housing, or justice violates this principle. The KHRC warns that such systemic discrimination leaves SGMs vulnerable to mental health challenges, economic exclusion, and physical harm. It also erodes trust in institutions meant to protect everyone. International bodies, including the African Commission, have called for an end to violence based on sexual orientation and gender identity. But in Kenya, human rights defenders working on SGM issues often face threats themselves. This means the space to even speak about these violations is shrinking.
So why should society care? Because injustice to one group threatens justice for all. When laws are applied selectively or when violence is tolerated against a minority, the rule of law is weakened for everyone. Discrimination also has economic costs. Excluding people from schools or workplaces denies the country talent and productivity. Healthcare discrimination increases vulnerability to HIV and other illnesses, straining the health system. And socially, it breeds division rather than unity. The KHRC argues that addressing SGM rights is not about importing Western values, but about living up to Kenya's own constitution and values of equality, justice, and Ubuntu, our shared humanity.
As we reflect on the KHRC report, the message is clear. Kenya has a choice. We can uphold our constitutional promise of equality and dignity for all, or we can continue to allow outdated laws and harmful prejudices to undermine justice. The struggle for the rights of sexual and gender minorities is not just their fight. It is a fight for a society rooted in fairness, compassion, and true respect for human rights. Thank you for joining me today. Let's keep this conversation alive. justice, after all, is indivisible.
Thank you for watching. If our video resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing to stay updated. Join our community in the comments to share your insights and foster discussions that drive positive change. See you next time.